I've been leaving at 7.
Yes, that's okay. Yes. So, yeah, we will start with God's Divine Plumb-line.
Yeah.
So, just to know what a plumb-line is for those that don't know, a plumb-line is a quite old-fashioned method used in building to make sure you can see if a wall is straight, is exactly plumb. So you nicely see here the Tower of Pisa in Italy, which is the most famous tower in the world because it's not plumb. And actually, even if you look well in the pillars of the building, you see already during the building while they were still working on it, it was already sinking because the upper part is actually already starting to be adjusted. So, but God uses this in the Bible. So let's, and it's really a powerful way to really see how God compares his truth with our own versions of what we think is truth.
Yeah.
And everything that has to do with God's truth means it's matters of our heart. You know, it's issues that we believe deep inside. It's issues that defile our lives, that destroy our lives, that spoil things, that spoil our relationships. I know often in our lives we struggle with things and we feel as if God will condemn us because of our struggles. But in fact, we are actually condemning ourselves. And of course, there are things that God condemns, but the reason why we so often struggle and cannot overcome issues is because we don't understand why those issues are in our life. So this teaching will help to start understanding why are certain issues in my life and actually how can I start overcoming them. And by going to the root of the issues, actually it becomes much easier to deal with them and to find healing and where needed and to find deliverance where needed. So let's go to the book of John, chapter 1. And there in verse 40, it says, one of the two who heard John speak and followed him was Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. He first found his own brother Simon and said to him, we have found the Messiah, which is translated the Christ. And he brought him to Jesus. Now, when Jesus looked at him, he said, you are Simon, the son of Jonah. You shall be called Cephas, or Peter, which is translated a rock. Now, Jesus, obviously, by what he did here, we know that Jesus understood the issues of Peter's life, or of Simon's life, because his name used to be Simon.
Yeah.
And you see this several times in the Bible, for example, also with Zacchaeus. You know, Zacchaeus climbing a tree to see Jesus, but he was a very corrupt man. Peter, as we see throughout his time walking with Jesus in the first 3 years, he was very unstable. He would jump ahead of the others and want to be the first, and then he would suddenly be scared and afraid and doubtful, and he would be very unstable and shaking. And both with Peter as well as with Zacchaeus, and there are many more examples in the Bible, you see that Jesus does not start addressing the issue in the beginning. Now with Zacchaeus, he said, today I must be in your house. And then the Pharisees were very annoyed with Jesus, like how he is going to be with a sinner. But Jesus did not just look at the issue on the outside. He analyzed where is the issue on the inside. And he starts dealing with that issue on the inside. And where in our churches often we are all dealing with issues on the outside. And when we fail to disciple people, we just are telling them they have to put certain clothes on, certain type of clothes. And then they like the outside looks good, then we think everything is fine.
Yeah.
Then the next thing is just come every Sunday to church and bring your tithe, put on the right clothes, and you are a good Christian. And of
Yeah.
course, it's ridiculous, because that's not at all what following Jesus is about. Now,
Mm.
when it came to Simon Peter, it obviously had to do with the way he saw himself, with his self-awareness of his identity.
Mm.
And so what does Jesus do? He changes his name. And
Mm.
he changes his name to a name, Peter, which means a rock. You know, what is the identity of a rock? A rock is a solid, stable place. You know, as you actually
Yeah.
see in the picture behind here, this is an old Roman bridge in Switzerland, in the Val Bertasca.
Mm.
This bridge is standing here for hundreds of years already. Many
Yeah.
hundreds of years, unshakingly. And the middle pillar and a boat on the sides is built on a rock, and is built with rock. So it is unshakable for hundreds of years. It has stood through storms. Water in winter and spring is raging underneath this bridge, but the rock in the center, where this bridge is standing on, by all the water with high force coming through there, when the snow in the mountains melts, it cannot shake that rock. Already for hundreds of years. So when Jesus calls him Peter, that is a prophetic name, that you are solid, you are unshakable. Now, the reality
Mm.
of Peter's life was far away from that. But you see, the amazing thing is, your name, you are called by many times in a day. So many times in a day, you hear your name. So by
Mm.
changing Simon's name into Peter, Jesus ensured that several times a day, his calling would be prophesied over him. So his name became a true prophetic name, a reminder for him several times a day that he was called to be a solid person and not a shaking person. Now, for the first 3 years, the reality of his life was shaking. It was only after he denied Jesus 3 times that he was shaken to the core and he became stable. But all Jesus did was laying a foundation in his life for that very moment, in the end, for him to become solid. And Peter, after that, barely ever is shaken again. There is a few times some little things, but he really becomes a very solid leader of the early church. And so I find this always such a wonderful example how Jesus deals with the roots, analyzing exactly where is the core issue of the problem and deals with it from that place without actually putting somebody to shame. And in our churches, what we often do is put people to shame and then put people down. And I believe it is not the godly way. God deals with us very gently, yet very firmly.
Mm.
And I think when we help people in overcoming their sin, we have to ask ourselves, how do I want people to address my issues of weakness? How would my issues of weakness effectively be addressed and changed? And don't use a different way for others than you desire for yourself. So I already said many issues are the issues of the heart, which is actually very nice to see also in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Because in Proverbs 24, Proverbs chapter 4, it's 23, it says, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Now, if I ask people around me here, why are you facing all kind of problems? Number one issue, people tell me, is no money. Money is the big problem. Number two issue is my family. My family wants this, my family wants that. And then beyond that, those two major ones, there is a whole range of other issues that deal with circumstances that are seen as the reason why there are problems in their life. And as long as we blame our circumstances for our problems, we will never resolve anything. Actually, in fact, if you look in the Bible, I believe we have entered the end time, and our circumstances in the end time are surely not becoming better. Yet, in the end time, the great harvest will come in. And why? King Solomon says, keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Which means the issues of my life are not coming forth out of my circumstances. They come forth out of my own heart. You see, you will find people or two people who go through the same problem, maybe are involved in the same traumatic experience. And or maybe here, like in the Philippines 2 years ago, there was a typhoon, a hurricane called Odette. And many houses got destroyed. So all the people went through the same traumatic event. And in some places, some buildings up till today have never been rebuilt or restored. But even after the typhoons left, within a short time, from weeks to some months, many buildings were restored. And I know one project, they even restored their building bigger than before. Now, where is the difference? The issue is that some people don't know. They are already so hurting inside that when they encounter a traumatic experience on the outside, they cannot overcome. Their heart is so broken. They are already, their heart is so shaking, so unstable, full of pain, that everything becomes too much and they cannot overcome. And others, they actually have a solid place in their heart. Their life is built on a solid foundation. And so when their circumstances become very shaking, they know how to counter it, they know how to deal with it, they know how to grieve whatever they lost and rebuild quick. So the same experience to the one person can be devastating and destroy their life completely and entirely. And another person, it was just a moment of shaking along their life, which they overcome and even come out stronger. The issue, the difference is not the circumstance, the issue is the heart. That's where the difference is. And so we have to deal with the circumstances. Now, for those joining in the group, when you see this picture, what do you see? So please unmute yourself and share what do you see if you see this person? What can you tell me about this person?
I see the person.
Yes, what can you tell me about this person?
Yeah, that person is putting helmet.
But why would he put it?
Maybe he's putting full comfort.
Okay, so do you think this person is going out for a date?
No, he's going for the fighting.
For the fighting?
Yeah.
So you think he is very effective in his fighting?
Yeah, he's ready to fight because he's putting everything.
So he's expecting war. He's expecting an attack.
Yeah,
or is he going to attack?
Yeah, he's going to attack. He's already.
Yes. Is he complete to attack the enemy?
Yeah, he's ready to attack enemy because he's already is putting everything on the sword and the gumboots and the element and everything.
Wait. Which elements do you see?
I see the element in the head.
Yes, but you mentioned the sword. Where is the sword?
Is
No
here
sword.
in the yeah.
There is no sword.
Is
No
what?
sword.
So is he going to be effective?
Mm-mm. No. And to me, with even a face covered.
Yes, he is very much defending himself. So he is expecting to be attacked, but he is not ready to be actively engaging. He's just trying to defend himself. Or he or she, I don't even know, because you cannot even see the face. So this is somebody who is obviously very afraid of a lot of attack and is expecting to be attacked, but not ready to fight. And by the way, yeah, yes, Ren.
It's like coping mechanism is self-defense
Yes, he's
because
defending
he got
himself.
hurt. Because the person got hurt, he built walls upon himself or herself.
Yeah.
So
So do you think this person expects others to love him or her or not?
no,
No.
So
There
when
is
this person is,
I see selfishness there. Like just me and myself.
yes, he's not expecting anyone to want to join him or her. So do you think this person expects others will love him or her?
no,
no.
So when this person does not expect anyone to love him or her, do you think he or she loves him or herself?
no.
No.
Mhm. And then, look, the person is sitting down. He's not standing up. So is he planning to go somewhere?
Stagnant.
Stagnant. Aha, exactly. Now
Comfort zone.
let's look at the next person.
Ah, that's a warrior.
What can you tell me about this person?
She's ready to fight.
She's ready to fight, yes. Is she protecting herself?
Yes.
No,
No, she's ready.
No.
She's ready to attack.
She's ready
She's
to
ready to
attack.
Yes.
attack.
So is she already on the move to attack?
No.
No.
No,
No, she's
The
also sitting
position,
down.
the position does not look like somebody who even wants to properly attack. Sitting down and
No.
crossing leg.
Exactly. But yet, would you like to go drink a cup of coffee with her?
No.
I
Not very
know.
sure because she's carrying a weapon, so
No.
you don't know how can you go and drink a coffee with her.
Yeah, she's the
Very
kind of person
mass.
that she's the kind of person you dare to try to point your finger with me at me. I will already shoot you before you can shoot me.
Yeah.
And
I
you
seem
know,
like
Man.
what do you think if these two now meet on a date and get married? How wonderful will their marriage be?
It will not be successful.
that is a family on that. If they are couples, there is no Jesus on that family.
But let me tell you, there are many couples whose life is like this, and they are sitting in church on Sunday.
They are there. It's true.
And they are
Very
wondering
sure.
why they are struggling in their relationship, and they're wondering why they're always fighting. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now we can deal with all on the outside and tell the one person, please take your harness off, put your shield down, and tell to the woman, put your bow and arrow down. Come on, stand up, become active. But as long as you don't deal with the issues, what makes them to get this attitude, it will never change. You cannot resolve these problems on the outside. They have to be resolved on the inside. See, in Matthew 22, verse 37 to 39, Jesus replies and said, love the Lord your God with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the first and greatest command. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. Now, this is a wonderful command from the Lord. But it says here, love your neighbor as yourself. Now, what do you think? If you hate yourself, will you be able to love your neighbor?
No.
No.
No, because it will become hate your neighbor as you hate yourself. Because if you already hate yourself, how can you ever believe that your neighbor will love you? Well, you cannot even love yourself. So when you hate yourself, you automatically expect your neighbor to hate you too. And somebody who hates you will surely attack you. So you will expect people to attack you. You will expect people to gossip about you. You will expect people to slander you. You will expect people to cheat you. So all the time you are defending yourself or you are attacking others as you expect them to attack you. Which means you will actually attack the people that love you. And the people that actually love you will depart from you and go away. And the only people who stay in the end are the people that actually will want to just abuse you. And so your action, your attitude will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you will say, but you see, the truth is, I can prove to you everybody is my enemy. And you start listing all the issues of all the people who have cheated on you. But the reality is, you attracted those people to yourself and you chased other people away.
That's true.
It is the status of our own heart that does these things and not our circumstances. It's our own heart that creates the circumstances and is incapable of overcoming other natural issues. So the way to change these things is to change our heart. Now, in order to start dealing with these issues, we have to ask ourselves some fundamental questions of our life. And as long as we cannot answer these questions correctly, we will be overcome by whatever circumstance comes our way. So the first question is, how do I know? Now, if you look in modern society, people say, knowledge is, your knowledge is your truth, my knowledge is my truth. So you can never know, but you know for yourself and live by it. Whatever you feel like, whatever you think you know, let that be your truth and let it be your guidance. And you see that there are people, they think that they know that even though they were born male, that they are female. And they get affirmed by that by all kinds of psychologists, and they start putting puberty blockers and undergo all kinds of operations to change their body to align it with what they think they know, only for them to realize a few years later that they didn't know, and they have now discovered something else, and now they realize they used to have the right body, but now they've mutilated that body and can never turn back to their healthy body as it once was. So how do I know? How can I know the truth? The Lord said, know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
So if I do not know how I can know, how to find the truth, how to discover things, how to know about things, then I'm already doomed, because I won't know what direction to go. Now, let me tell you, there are many countries, and like also here in Philippines, I see it among so many youths. They have no direction for their life. They know nothing. Honestly, when you ask them about them, they are blank about everything except about TikTok. They know everything about TikTok. They know everything about immorality. But for the rest, they know nothing, because they have not been taught how they can know. They have not been triggered and stimulated to be curious to know. They are not even any longer interested to know anything. And it's very sad. The second question is a very, very important one, is who am I? And it's a question when you ask many youths today, they will stare you in the eyes with their eyes blank. They have no idea who they are. You see, even in many societies, and this includes in particularly a lot of Western societies, all you are is a consumer unit. And that's how even government in their calculations will address you. You are a consumer unit. If insurances in Europe pay for, when you have health insurance, not everything is paid for. The one person will get an operation, another person won't get it, because they calculate how much the operation will cost and how many years that might add to your life and your productivity for those years, and to see if it is still beneficial to let you go through the operation. So you are just a consumer unit. You are a product. You are a number in the system. And so many people today don't know who they are. And let me tell you, if Christians in the church would really know who they are, the church will look very different. And let me tell you, when Christians, those who call themselves Christian in the church, would know who they are, we would see revival all over the world. So if we cannot answer this question properly, and I think in the fullness, we might only be able to answer it once we are in heaven and really get the fullness of the revelation who we are. But I believe that the Lord desires to reveal to us much, much more who we are today than we know. But in order to receive the revelation of the Lord of who we are, we have to really spend time with him. And how much time do we spend with him to tell us who we are? The next question we have to be able to answer to resolve issues in our life and move forward is that we have to know, where do I come from? I must understand why and how I grew up. Now, of course, we know what happened in growing up, but do we have any idea what that caused in our life? If you grow up in a stable and solid, loving, caring family that encourages for you to study and to grow and your identity is affirmed, things will go very easy. But if you grew up in an alcoholic family, in an abusive family, if you grew up in a family where the parents were divorced, there will be lots of consequences to that. And you might not understand the impact that where you came from has on your life today. So it's very important to understand where you came from. Even every one of us comes from different cultures. Your culture has a very big impact on who you are. It's where you came from. The next question is, where am I going to? What is my goal? What is my direction? I'm always asking youths when I start helping them, I ask them, what are your hobbies? What are the things you like to do? And I already know when they look me in the face and like, I don't have hobbies. I already know for sure they do have some, but they are very destructive, so they won't tell me. When youths have no hobbies, when there is no things they are passionate about, I know for sure every one of us is passionate about something. And most of them will be very passionate to spend a lot of time on their phone. And most times spend their time in pornographic sites and a lot of social media, from which the majority of it is very much geared and focused towards sexual immorality. The second question I ask youths, what is your aim for your future? What job do you want to do? What would you like to achieve in your life? And many youths will again look with a blank face, they have no idea. Or they will tell me, oh, I want to become a medical doctor. I want to become an engineer. And I ask why? And they say, oh, so that I can make money to take care of my family. So they are all driven only, I must make money in my life, because poverty has been affecting them very deeply. So these are the things that tell me immediately if a youth is coming from a traumatic background, a broken background, or from a healthy background. And then the fourth question, or the fifth actually, is what has value to me? What is valuable? What things are really important? Can you prioritize in your life what is valuable, what is not valuable? Where do you give input to? Where do you spend time for? So these questions are very important questions to ask and to answer them. And so next week, I will continue with the story of Adam and Eve, where everything started going wrong. But for today, I will leave it here, and I hope it blesses you. Thank you.